everyone, and welcome back to the Awards Gambit. I hope everybody had a great weekend and that we're enjoying the final days of October in this beautiful fall we've been having. Today, I'm going to be doing a movie review for the film Killers of the Flower Moon, which I saw yesterday. Overall, I thought the film was absolutely phenomenal. Everything about it, all around, it was an exceptional film. And I'm so excited to do my review of this film with you guys and talk about its awards potential. Phoebe is really excited about this movie review. As you can see, she's screaming. So just bear with me on this video. I can't really get her to be quiet. So just enjoy her beautiful meowing. For those of you who don't know much about the film, I want to give a brief plot overview about what the movie is about. Killers of the Flower Moon is the latest film directed by Martin Scorsese, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. This film follows a World War I veteran named Ernest Burkhart, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who returns home from war and goes to his uncle's ranch in Oklahoma. And his uncle is played by Robert De Niro, and his uncle has a plan to gradually infiltrate the Osage Nation and take over their land and take their resources and their oil. One of the ways he plans to infiltrate the nation is by marrying the Native American women who live there and own a lot of land and money. And so Ernest works as a driver, and he starts driving a woman named Molly, who's played by Gladstone, and they end up getting married and starting a family together. And so what we see happening is murders of Native American people in the nation, and the murders were orchestrated by Ernest's uncle, William Hale, and his associates. And these murders aren't being investigated very much. Some of Molly's family members are murdered. And so the story shows Ernest and Molly's complicated relationship and their marriage, and Ernest's relationship with his uncle William, and what's going to happen with these murders. How are they going to be resolved? Are William and Ernest going to be held responsible for playing a part in these murders? So that's just a little bit of what the movie's about. This film is based on true events. This actually happened in real life. And I feel like it's a story not many people have heard of. I had never heard of it before, and I found it extremely informative. It's an incredible story. It's absolutely devastating and horrible watching this story play out. And so I want to talk about the aspects of this film that I thought were wonderfully made and what made them so great, and the things that I like the most about it, and most importantly, the movie's awards chances. We have award season rapidly approaching. This is one of the first major contenders that I've seen, and so I'm excited to share my thoughts with you guys. I think this movie is definitely going to get double-digit nominations. Every aspect of this film was absolutely brilliant. So jumping into these categories, I think that this film will definitely get in for Best Picture. I think it could absolutely win Best Picture. Martin Scorsese's films often get nominated for Best Picture. The Departed won Best Picture. The Irishman was nominated for Best Picture. The Wolf of Wall Street nominated for Best Picture. All the way back to Raging Bull in 1980. His movies are often recognized in that category, and this film, I haven't seen all of his movies, but the ones I've seen, I've been blown away by, and this movie was no exception to that. It's such an important story that is told in this film, and Martin Scorsese did it in a very careful way, coming from the lens of a white man, and I just think that it's definitely going to get in, no question. I think that this movie will also get in for Best Director for Martin Scorsese. He's been nominated many other times in the past. He won for The Departed in 2007. And I think he could win this category. I think that, I mean, for those of you who have seen my videos in the past, you know that I'm predicting him to be nominated and some of the other categories that we'll talk about in this video. You know that I'm already predicting them, but Martin Scorsese is absolutely a legend, and I think that the work he put into this movie and the time and all the things that he considered when making this movie, he really took into account the Native Americans' point of view. There are a lot of real Native American actors playing Native American people in the film. And the way he plotted it all out, it just came out amazing. The direction of the film is so good. I was invested the entire time. And the movie was 3.5 hours, so that's saying something. Normally I'd be falling asleep, but I didn't fall asleep. I rested my eyes for a few minutes, and that's it. So yeah, I think Martin Scorsese will get in, no question. For acting nominations, I definitely think Leonardo DiCaprio will get in for Best Actor. He was so good in the film. He's good in basically every film he's in. And this is another leading role for him that he knocks out of the park. I think that Robert De Niro will get in for Best Supporting Actor. Just like Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro is exceptional in most films he's in, and he plays a very substantial role in this film. He even has some comedic elements to his performance. And so he's a legend, he's the man, one of the greatest actors of all time. I think he'll get in for Best Supporting Actor. I think that both of them could win. It's possible. It's still early. But I think the fact that they've both won Oscars before might hurt their chances. The Academy sometimes won't give performers a second or third Oscar if there's someone else that might deserve it. And I think that in those categories, they might want to give it to other people. But I want to talk about Lily Gladstone because she was something else. I was absolutely blown away by her performance. Most of her dialogue and most of her scenes, it's all very internalized, all very quiet, but you can see everything that's happening in her eyes. Her eyes are absolutely mesmerizing. I had never seen her in anything before, and I just thought that she completely held her own in this film against a lot of male characters. A lot of people thought that she might go in for supporting actress, but she decided to campaign for lead. I could see the argument for her in lead. She's definitely the female with the most screen time, and she's married to Leonardo DiCaprio, who is the lead of the film. But there are stretches in this film that she's not in a ton. She doesn't have necessarily the screen time of a lead. So that might be harder for her to get that win against people who are definitely leads. But I'm absolutely rooting for her to win this Oscar. It would be such a groundbreaking moment for the first Native American woman to win the Oscar for Best Actress. She'd be the first to be nominated too. And so I'm really hoping that she can pull it out. I'm rooting for her. If you haven't seen this movie yet, check it out, because I really think that you'll have the same take as me and absolutely be left speechless by Lily Gladstone's performance in this movie. I think this movie will also get in for Best Adapted Screenplay. It's adapted from a nonfiction book that some of my friends read, and they said that it was incredible and that the movie did a great job of adapting it. And I feel like the Academy likes to share the wealth a bit, so maybe if Martin Scorsese doesn't win in director, he'll win for adapted screenplay. From the scenes with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro to the scenes from Leonardo DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone, they had so many great conversations with each other, and just watching these incredible actors bring the screenplay to life on the big screen. It was really breathtaking. I'm predicting that it will win the award for adapted screenplay. Some other aspects of the film that I think that we'll get in, the editing was so good. Almost never, like, if I'm watching a movie, I want it to be under 2 hours. But this movie, it was 3.5 hours, and I was here for it the whole time. It did not feel slow. It did not drag at all. I was invested the whole time. I think that the pace was perfect. The way it was cut was so good, and it will. I think it will get in for editing, and I think it could win. I mean, I would love to see it win. I also think that it will get in for best cinematography. The shots of the reservation in Osage County, some of the land was so beautiful. These big, huge fields. There's an amazing shot where Lily Gladstone and Leonardo DiCaprio are meeting on this like beautiful field, and they like put their foreheads together. So beautiful. And all the other scenes too. I mean, Scorsese knows how to do it. So I think that it will definitely get in for cinematography. I think it will get in for best costume design, especially for the designs of all the Native American clothing. In the film, Molly had so many different outfits, and they were so beautiful, these classic traditional Native American outfits. And all the other background actors too, people that played members of her family, absolutely impeccable costume design that I think will be recognized by the Academy. I also think it'll get in for best production design, from the ranch that William Hale lived on to the reservation to the courtroom. Everywhere in this movie, I mean, it all looked very realistic. I've really felt like they did a good job of capturing 1920s and like the things that were really there at that time. It felt like it was very realistic, and I quite enjoyed it, and I think it will get in that category too. I also think that this movie could be recognized for its score. The score was composed by a man whose name is Robbie Robertson, who actually passed away this August. Rest in peace, Robbie. I believe the movie was dedicated in his honor. I actually watched an interview with Martin Scorsese on Jimmy Kimmel from last week, where he talks about Robbie Robertson and how detailed the score was, and how they really integrated the sounds and the music into the score of the film. I wouldn't say the score was the most memorable part, but there were times where the noise really added to the scene, and I was just like, it just made me even more enthralled and invested, and it gave me chills, and I loved it. So I think that it could definitely get in for score. It'd be a really wonderful posthumous nomination, and if it wins, that would be a really special moment at the Oscars. I think that the film could definitely get into best sound too. It wasn't a super flashy film in terms of sound, but I mean, there were a few scenes where there were big, loud sounds, and so maybe it could get in here. And so those are some of the categories that I think it will get into at the Oscars. I'm very excited for it to be a contender all around. I want to give this film an overall rating out of 10. I would give this film a 9.5 out of 10, just because, like I said, all around, it was an excellent film. I was so invested the whole time. The way that it comes together at the end, it's just every part of it, excellent filmmaking all around. I would expect nothing less from Martin Scorsese. And honestly, I think it's the best film I've seen all year. It's definitely the most touching and the most important film that I've seen all year. These are stories that are meant to be told, meant to be shared with people who have never heard about them before. So please, 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 if you haven't already, go see this movie. Go see it on the big screen. You will not regret it. And so that concludes my movie review for Killers of the Flower Moon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate your support always. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, email those listener questions to awardsgambit@gmail.com. And stay tuned for more movie reviews and more Oscar predictions. Thanks again for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic week and take care.